Welcome to Nonstop. It's the official and season show of Kirk, Herbstreit, and Joey Galloway. Your first stop for all things football, college, and pro. Every Monday.
All right, on this Tuesday night, Joey is in New York City with the crew there. You guys put on that was a quick show. That was quick.
That was quick. Yeah, that is fast. You got basketballs bouncing past you, Duke and Kansas out there warming up. That's a quick show.
By the way, none of you guys gave Michigan State much of a chance in that game, and they blew Kentucky out.
No, I picked them. I picked Michigan State to knock down a bunch of threes and blow out Kentucky.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I picked that one.
How's that scene? I always used to like going. It's been in Madison Square Garden. It's been in New York. Been in Indy. Been in Chicago. How do you like it there? You like Madison Square Garden for that opening kind of hype of the college hoop season?
I feel like every year I've come here, it's gotten better. You remember last time you were here, we were up in the rafters somewhere doing the show up in a suite. This time we're down on the court. The atmosphere feels better this time around. Like each year it gets better. We weren't here last year, but this one feels really good. It's
awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know the rankings just came out. There's a few things I guess to get into. There some teams moved up obviously with the loss to Alabama. Bama drops down to 10. They were at 4. They dropped down to 10. Everybody behind them moved up. Oklahoma moves up 3 spots to 8. I think everybody's talking about Notre Dame and Miami. I told you on Monday when we did our show, I said, I want to see where Alabama and Miami are, because I really think that Notre Dame's going to be in. I mean, people can say whatever they want to say. They can get upset, whatever. I don't think it's going to end up being a Notre Dame Miami discussion. I think both of those teams potentially get in. And I don't know if Miami's going to get close enough without a conference championship game for them to be in that cluster, for them to be able to say, hey, we beat you head to head. But why not have both potentially? If Miami finishes strong, why wouldn't the Canes potentially get in there as a large team?
Well, Herbie, as you always tell me, and you're the one doing the calculations on counting the numbers. And again, when you start to count the numbers, with Alabama falling to 10, that's going to be their 5th team.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to get 5.
Yeah.
And so
now you have five in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, 5 in the top 10. So basically, the country
5.
they needed Oklahoma to lose. Now they need someone else to possibly lose up there.
Yeah, Bama could lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Who knows, right?
There's a lot of things that could happen. One thing that Miami should be rooting for is for Pitt to knock off Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech lost to NC State, and then they didn't look great against Boston College. So here comes a Pitt team. If they can get up off the ground with what happened in the Notre Dame game, they could knock off Georgia Tech. Miami absolutely needs. I think they still need some help. I don't think that they're safe in that spot. I think they still need some help. Whether getting into the ACC championship game would be terrific for them, or someone ahead of them losing.
And that's not going to happen. They're not going to go to the ACC championship game. Virginia, I think Virginia and Georgia Tech are going to be the 2 teams. And look how far down both Virginia and Georgia Tech are. And the winner of that game gets the automatic spot. And then that leaves Miami. So the reason it's important when we do this, if you start with 5, and right now you have 5 teams in the top 10 in the SEC. If you have 5 there, and you have a group of 5, and potentially Notre Dame, that would be 7. Unless Miami gets close enough for that cluster, and then you could maybe push Notre Dame out. It's just hard to imagine that happening with where Notre Dame is currently ranked. But if it did. Right. If they got close enough, Miami would have the head-to-head. But for now, if you look at Notre Dame, that gives you 7. ACC gets 1, that's 8.
Yep.
Big 12 gets 1, that's 9. And now you got 3 left for the Big 10.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like Miami is sitting in a spot that
Miami's in a tough spot.
It looks good when we do our brackets. And I tried to mention this on the show that you sort of have to realize Right now, we have Miami slotted into the bracket simply because they're the highest ranked ACC team. But it's not true. It's not a true spot for Miami right now. It's just a placeholder in our bracket because they're the highest ranked. But unless they get in the ACC championship game, I don't see how maybe if Oregon loses to USC, but then does USC jump up? I mean,
let me ask you a
tough.
question. If I were in that room, how much do you weigh Miami, Notre Dame week 1, really close game in Miami? I think it was a 3-point game, maybe.
Yep.
Really competitive, good game. Versus Miami has that head-to-head, but then they lose to Louisville at home, and they lose on the road at SMU. At what point does a head-to-head not carry the weight based on the other games that a team loses?
Yeah, I think, yep,
is
I agree with
SMU
you.
ranked this week? Is Louisville ranked this week? Neither team is ranked. So you
neither
lose
team
to
is
two
ranked.
teams unranked.
Absolutely
when
right.
you control your own destiny, really. I mean, at what point do you not hold on to week 1, a 3-point victory, when you've lost a couple games to teams you were favored over? I just wonder how you weigh
the Miami
that.
fans are holding on with both hands. This is the second year in a row Miami has had a chance to finish, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
balls in their court.
Yes, the only thing they have left to hold on to is that Notre Dame win in week 1, which I don't. When I look at both teams play now, Miami in their last game looked like Miami, but they went through that lull there when they lost 2 out of 3 games later in the season. To me, that wipes out the head-to-head at Miami, close loss for Notre Dame. The losses that you just talked about, 2 unranked teams to Miami, whereas Notre Dame lost to Texas A&M and Miami. I don't think that's comparable. And
I'm just asking that to everybody. Like I
don't see it. Like I don't. Now listen. Now if they need Pitt to knock off Georgia Tech, then maybe Pitt can get ranked, and maybe Miami can get another data point there. But I don't see that comparison.
So let me go to the other side of this. If I'm a Miami fan, I'm looking at Notre Dame, who by the way, I like Notre Dame. I like that team. I really like. I think CJ Carr. We know about the backs, the receivers. I think it's a good team.
Yeah.
They lost to open the season to Miami and then to A&M, and since then they've been able to put it together. But they've played Purdue, Arkansas on the road, Boise State, NC State, USC, who's a ranked team, Boston College, Navy, and Pitt. Those are their victories, and they're going to finish with Syracuse and Stanford. So to look at it, I guess on the other side, I'm sure Miami fans are saying, "What is Notre Dame?" I mean, I know they've won games, but who have they beaten? What have they done? I guess is what Miami would make that case.
Yeah, I agree. And if I'm Miami, I'm trying to make that case. Honestly, I think what the committee did, and I mentioned this in week 1, when Ohio State was 1, Indiana 2, and Texas A&M was 3.
The eyeball
this
test.
committee
They're just saying
has been very comfortable looking at a team and saying that's a better football team. And if I was to watch Notre Dame from week 1 to now, outside of the Boston College game, for when it was when you look at what Notre Dame has done, that one got a little tight there. But
25-10.
Yeah, if you're looking at the eyeball test,
they've dominated everybody. All these
they've dominated.
Yeah.
And the committee has said eyeball test matters. Notre Dame looks like they fit the bill.
And before we keep going down this, I just think, is Miami going to be able to climb for this to become hey, we beat them head to head? Again, if you're down 3 or 4 spots, you really don't have that opportunity. It has to be in that either 2 teams together in a cluster, 3 teams together, where they're like, I think Hunter brought that up tonight when he said, when we were looking at Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama, it was kind of a cluster for them. The reason they put Oklahoma ahead of it, he mentioned Alabama, was because obviously they had just beaten them, and there was a cluster of teams. And so that's what I think that's the term that they use. Miami at 13, and they still, they still have games remaining. They have
They have
Virginia
Virginia Tech and
Tech
Pitt. Not
and
not
Pitt,
great. Yeah, not
not
great.
great. No,
It's
and
it's gonna hurt.
it makes
Do
you
you
wonder what
do you
what
think
will make them
people
go up. What would
do
make
you do you think
Notre
that
Dame
people understand the cluster concept? You know what I mean? Like how that
a
works.
cluster is when two teams' resumes are so close. Forget head to head. Like two teams'
Right.
resumes are just so close in a ranking. They could be at 7 or 8, or they could be at 10 or 11, or 9, 10 or 11, but there's the committee in the room. They're trying to find, other than just the eyeball test, is there anything?
Yeah.
By the way, this is usually supposed to be when all the games are played. Conference
Hmm.
championships have been rewarded. We've seen all the games. And then they look at head to head as one of those things. They're going to look at who's a conference champion. Let's say there's a cluster of 3. One of those teams is a conference champion. 2 of them are not. Boom. That would be a differentiator, that if they had that, it's almost like a trump card. Hey, we're a conference champion. Those 2 teams that we're in a cluster with are not. Okay, boom. You guys get you. That's like a deciding vote that would help you.
Yes.
Head to
Yeah.
head,
And
if there's
and
a
you're a
cluster,
cluster. But if Miami
head to
can't
head
get
would
to
be
the
thing.
cluster, yeah, if Miami can never get into the same cluster because of the distance between where they're
I just
ranked,
don't.
that's the
If I
part
were a
they
Miami fan, I
they
would be
can't get there.
concerned. I'd be concerned, like you're saying. Notre Dame's sitting there at 9. They've got Syracuse and Stanford. Assuming they win both of those games
Yeah.
convincingly, we're still going to be saying they're not playing anybody, but they're going to win 49-10.
Yes.
What could you do if you're on that committee to say we got to move Notre Dame back, or what can Miami do to say we got to get Miami up? They're not, if they won the ACC, they got into the ACC championship. That might be
That's the key.
another. Yeah, I mean, but
That
right
would be the
now,
key.
yeah, right now they're on the
But it's
outside
tough.
looking in
It's
there.
tough to get
So
there.
um, it's frustrating. I know. I get it, man. This is where you wish there was 14 teams, or 14 teams,
You
or
sound you sound like you're talking to somebody that's in the hospital. That is just like
well,
you're like, I get it, Miami. I understand.
hey, I
Hey,
do.
listen.
I
Hey,
do.
hey. But again, it's the
I've done
same
about 2 or
thing.
3 Miami games.
I get it
like
too.
I like
It's the
their
same
team.
thing. Like last year, everything was in their hands. It like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they were in a tough situation. Group of five's in a tough situation. Group of five is in a tough situation. You're trying to fight against something that like you won't get a chance to play against, to get compared to. Miami had everything in front of them. Miami
Yeah.
dropped the ball for the second year in a row, and
Yeah.
so they're sitting in a bad spot. But I mean, I I get it, but you're talking like
Well,
the.
do you think? Do you know who Tulane still has to play?
You know
Are they?
what? I looked at that earlier, and I don't. So by our analytics,
Yeah.
JMU has a 53% chance of getting in. North Texas, out of the American, has a 38% chance. And Tulane, out of the American, has a 17% chance.
Wow.
It's
Well, why JMU wasn't even on the board,
it is
and
interesting
your
to me.
analytics have them.
This
That's
is this.
interesting.
Hey, listen, buddy. Don't be saying your analytics. This is ESPN's analytics.
Well, you're on the
Your
show.
our analytics. So it was interesting to me. I thought this would be the week when you had 20, 21, 22, 24, and 25 all lose. I thought this would be the week that we would see 2
Yeah.
of the group of 5 teams get ranked, and we didn't. Somehow Tulane is that team. So, hey, listen, maybe your analytics are off, but
Hey, JMU plays Wazoo this week.
uh-huh.
As far as their schedule, they played Louisville early in the year and lost to them. Played everybody in their conference. They've been able to take care of business. They're 7-0. Washington State, and they finished with Coastal Carolina. So maybe they'll move up into the top 25 next week.
Pull up Tulane. What do you got for Tulane?
Tulane, let's see.
I don't have my computer on me. What do you got here?
I got you. Tulane has, I think they just have 1 game left, and then they would have the conference championship in the American. They have Charlotte, who's 0-7,
Yeah, Charlotte's awful.
1-9. Yeah. Oh, Temple, and then Charlotte.
Okay.
Temple and then Charlotte.
All right.
Temple's 5-5. Charlotte's 1-9. So
Interesting.
So they'll win. They'll
They're
win those
ranked,
two.
but I don't know how you guys calculated the 17%. That part
I don't know how you did that. Hey, let's see what's on people's minds. They're in, I mean, is there anything else that stands out? The 5 in the SEC in the top 10. Oregon and USC is a great game this weekend. Oregon
big one
at 7. USC with a big opportunity sitting there at 15.
For sure.
We keep thinking Big Ten's going to get 3. That's a huge opportunity for both of those teams, and especially if you're a USC fan. From where this season started, people have not really been paying attention to SC. They will if they go to Eugene and knock off the Ducks, which is always
for sure
a tough thing to do. Ty, let's answer a few questions and then we'll roll. Bama fan here, concerned how it seems like they danced around the conference championship question with all the 2-loss teams. Do you know what that means?
I don't. Alabama's a 1-loss team in the SEC, but they're a 2-loss team overall. I don't know the scenarios for the SEC right now. I don't. And there are, in all of these conferences, it has not been decided yet how these teams get there, what plays out. So I don't know what the SEC pathway is. I think Bama's a 1-loss team.
I don't know for sure. I think Bama, if they win the Iron Bowl, and I think they would play A&M, assuming A&M, if they were able to beat Texas. I think, but again, there's just too many games still to be played.
There's too much. I wouldn't want to play. Ole Miss is in a good spot. I would like to be Ole Miss right now. They're in a good place.
Ole Miss is like, our coach is looking for a job. We're going to end up 11-1. We're going to host a playoff game.
We're going to host a playoff game and not play in the SEC championship game.
How great is that?
Great spot to be in.
You're loving that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys believe that Miami would have to be ranked 1 spot behind Notre Dame for the head-to-head to come into play? I don't see a way for them to get that high to come into play. USC could jump Miami with a win at Oregon. Now, that's something we didn't even talk about, is if SC, who's 2 spots behind them, were to win, could they with that big of a win against number 7, they could theoretically.
Yeah, I would.
It's a really good
agree.
point.
I agree with that person. I do think they have to get to within 1 spot. I think they have to climb to within 1 spot, which is again, I don't think they can get into that cluster to compare to Notre Dame, unfortunately, for Miami fans.
All right, let's go to the next one. How is BYU out when their only loss is a road loss to a top 5 team? Notre Dame doesn't. No. BYU is not out. BYU plays in the Big 12, and BYU is going to get an opportunity to go to the conference championship game in Arlington and get a rematch against the Utah Utes. And so if they were to,
they're going to get a rematch Texas Tech. Yes.
Yeah. And if they were to win that game, they're in. They'd be Big 12 champs. And
absolutely right. They are in.
And I'll tell you what else happens if that were to play out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right.
Woo-wee.
Absolutely right. It gets very
Texas
interesting.
Tech, if they lose, they're still in.
Yeah.
Dude, if BYU figures it out and they shock the world and upset Texas Tech, how do you keep Texas Tech if they lost that game out? You can't.
They're in. So when we talk about these conferences getting 1 or 2 like
where
teams,
would you take that team from?
Would Tech
it'd either be the SEC's
behind Alabama?
It'd either be the SEC's 5th team, or it would be the Big Ten's 3rd. I don't know where. There's nowhere else to take a team from. If BYU upset Texas Tech, there's no other teams. That would be messy.
Yeah, that'd be very messy.
Dude, because Texas Tech's not out if they lose in Arlington. They've had too good of a year all year long.
Yeah, but if you look at it, it would also depend on what happens in the SEC let's just say Alabama plays the SEC championship game against Texas A&M.
Mhm.
And let's say now Bama loses, then that may move them out of the way. If
So
they
you-
win it, now we're in another, again, you're in that same conversation. Where does Texas Tech fall to? Where does the loser SEC championship game fall to? And I don't think none of them are falling far. If they're not going to be penalized
I
for
know, but
playing in that champ
there's
game.
only 12 spots.
Well, Herbie, we just talked the other day about yesterday, when does this thing expand? Well, you better, this is why you got to
I told you it's
expand.
going to be an all-timer. It's going to be the worst
This is
year
why you
we've
got to
ever had.
expand.
It's going to be the toughest year we've ever had.
We hope it's the toughest year. We hope that the committee on selection day has a hard job to do. It's no fun when they don't.
Whew. I don't know how they don't. I mean, it's going to be.
Yeah. It's no fun when we roll into selection Sunday already set in stone. It's no fun.
I think you're going to have some fun. I think it's going to be a lot of people throwing stuff at their TVs.
Yes, which is fun.
Well, it's passion. We hate to see people disappointed, but there's a great deal of passion. All right, a couple more questions. We got to get Joey back to. You going to go watch that second game?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hang out and watch the second game. There's a couple, talking to Seth and Jay Will. There's a couple picks on the Duke team that you want to keep your eye on. So I'm gonna go out there and watch the Boozer twins play.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Why is Vandy not moving up the rankings, even with all the motion in the top 50? I kind of feels like Vandy's hit a little bit of a ceiling, and I think it has as much to do with the conference. And you can't have too many teams. And I think losing to Texas recently, just a few weeks ago, even though
the way they
back,
lost to Texas,
and I think
but
the way
if
they
you
lost to
looked at that
Alabama
before the comeback, I think that created their ceiling. Is that? But they have Tennessee left.
They got Kentucky and Tennessee left.
Yeah, they got Tennessee left. So there's a possible ranked win, but I don't know where they could go. I mean,
and I think the conference is taking up already. We're talking about they've already taken up potentially 5 spots. Just
a lot of real estate.
Yeah. So I think getting behind some of those other teams, losing to Texas, losing to Alabama, kind of put you behind some of these teams.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's see. This is the only thing I don't understand as an Australian fan of the NFL and college football is how can you pick playoffs by a selection committee? Fair question. We used to use computers. First of all, in the NFL, there are rules within each division and each conference. And if there's tiebreakers, you can go to the first tiebreaker, the second tiebreaker, the third tiebreaker. It's built into the system. And there's no subjective analysis. It's just, it is what it is. If you're 10-7 and this team's 10-7,
wins and losses.
It's just wins and losses. And they look up to find out where the tiebreaker, eventually one team gets the nod and they go to the playoffs. There's really no discussion. You imagine if the NFL had a selection committee and debates about it would be chaos.
Yeah, and you're talking about like teams. Like the best team and the worst team in the NFL, the margins are razor thin. Totally. That's not what we're talking about in college. But we're talking 132, I think 132 teams, something like that, for 12 spots. It's different in the NFL when there's just a select amount, and then they play each other.
There's rules built in.
It's all the same.
Yeah, that's true. But there's really no discussion. It's just your record is whatever it is, and they just have rules built in, and there's no debate. It's more, here's what your record is.
Here's what your record is.
This team's in the playoffs. This team's not. It's just, it is what it is. College football, you have different conferences. You have different routes. Some are easier, some are tougher. You have subjective debates, and you have a committee that sits behind, a kind of in a private room that has their own way of evaluating things that could be very different from Joey and I or people at home, but it's subjective.
Yeah.
How we view teams and how the committee, which is the only thing that matters, views teams could be similar, could be different, but it's an opinion. Whereas the NFL, it's fact. Here's your record. You're in the playoffs. So I hope that helps clarify that for you. Thank you both for joining. With OSU, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Georgia leading, which results in the next 2 weeks could shake up the playoff bracket? And is there a chaos scenario the committee isn't ready for in the new 12-team format? Well, we just kind of touched on a couple of them. You know, we think if BYU would upset Texas Tech, that could really potentially, I think, be one of the craziest things that we're almost assuming Texas Tech is going to win and represent the Big 12. But if there was an upset there,
that's because we've seen Texas Tech play BYU, correct?
Yep.
And it wasn't it wasn't pretty.
If they finished in the red zone, it would have been a 40-point victory.
Yeah, so we're assuming that's what we're assuming. Now, Texas A&M and Texas, that could be interesting at the end of the season. That one
Ohio
could
State,
be
Michigan.
very interesting. Ohio State, Michigan could be very, very interesting at the end.
Yeah. But so I think Big 12 championship, it doesn't really matter who wins the ACC championship. It's the loser isn't really still in the discussion. The loser's out. Miami and what they are doing and dealing with, having beaten Notre Dame. If Notre Dame wins out, Miami wins out, I guess that's going to be a big discussion. But I think the curveball, to answer your question, would be if BYU upset Texas Tech, BYU would be in automatically, being Big 12 champs. Joey and I think Texas Tech would still be in. That would give the Big 12 2 teams. And then you would either take a team out from the SEC or potentially take one out from the Big 10. Those are the only 2 spots. If that happened, you would have to be able to take a team from. So we'll, chaos is coming. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
What are Texas's chances if they win out? They dropped like an anchor after last week. They dropped to 7. They're down to 17.
Yes,
I think they're on the outside. Even if
I think the committee is saying they're on the outside. I think that's why they dropped so far. I think the committee is saying they're going to be on the outside. I don't see a way for them to get back in it.
And let me throw this one at you. If Texas, which is capable, we know, if they at home beat A&M, and A&M sitting out there at 11-0, where does A&M go? How far would they drop? 2 or 3, 4 spots?
Say that again.
If Texas hosting Texas A&M on Black Friday, if they were to upset A&M, which I'm saying is they're more than capable of doing that.
Absolutely.
I wonder how that would impact 11-0 A&M in the CFP rankings. Like we're talking about curveballs.
I think they're staying in this top 7. I don't think they're going far. Yeah, I don't think they're going far.
Okay. I mean they've been pretty dominant most
Absolutely
of the year.
Right.
And they'd be 11-0.
It's not like one of those teams you say, well, who they play? They played some people. They're not going anywhere.
And Joey, I don't think Texas would move high enough, even with a win over number 3. I just don't know who they would go by from their own conference.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
I think that's tough. One more, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah.
What's Michigan's situation?
Out. I think Michigan has to root for some things, namely USC to lose this weekend. Michigan has a USC problem. USC is ranked ahead of Michigan, and USC beat Michigan. So they have that issue. If USC were to lose and Michigan was to win out, then they have a different conversation. Can they climb high enough? I don't know.
But they have Joey, if Oregon beats USC,
that's what Michigan needs.
And Michigan wins out.
Yes.
And they're 10-2 with a win over number 1.
Yep.
Ohio State. They're at 18 right now.
Yeah.
If you assume that once they beat Maryland, they'll move up, let's say, depending on what happens in front of them, move up probably a couple spots.
Well, that's if, say USC beats Oregon, then you would have to hope that Oregon falls far enough. I don't know that happens. Like, there's not a whole lot of, Michigan needs help. Michigan needs some things to happen in front of them.
Yeah.
For them to, even get a chance.
There's always this, I don't. You and I used to go to the Citrus Bowl. I don't know what it is now. I don't know if it's still the Citrus Bowl or what it is, but you still a bowl guy? If you don't make the playoff, are you a bowl guy? Like the big bowls. I'm not talking the whatever bowl, but the ones that
easy. Yes. And crazy enough, and people talk about the bowls, but a lot of people watch bowl games.
I see.
Like when you look at the
oh my gosh,
when you look at the ratings for bowl games, and you're literally thinking like, who's watching this? These teams have won 6 games. People watch those games. It's crazy.
Monster
people
ratings.
watch those games. Yes, they do good ratings.
Yeah, I'm a bowl guy still. Like I enjoy when the Big Ten plays the SEC, or it's a big bowls, a nice crowd, bragging rights on the line. I think that the upper tier bowl games are still fun. I agree. I still enjoy watching those. Thank you, man. I appreciate hopping on here. It's fun to do this every Tuesday night, and as we get here in the next few weeks, obviously it's going to get narrowed down more and more. There's a lot here, and if you're frustrated with where your team is, we understand. You just kind of got to keep winning games here these next couple of weeks. All we can say. Hope that there's some magic.
We understand.
Oh, by the way,
we get it.
What about this hire?
I knew it was coming. I'm surprised. Yeah. I think you felt better about it than I did.
You're not fired up about it?
Can we get him on the show next Monday? How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get him. Let's get him in here. Let's see
Dude,
what we got.
I think that's a massive hire for Virginia Tech. We've missed the Hokies. It's been a long time. I think he's going to recruit really well in Virginia, in the DC area. It's where he's always recruited really well. And I just think it's a good fit. Sometimes we talk about it. Is it a fit? Is it not? I think it's a great fit. Sounds like Virginia Tech's going to kind of get more aggressive with their approach to NIL and trying to build.
That's the key.
Yeah.
How much NIL do you have? Like that's literally the key.
They've got to invest.
What you're gonna do.
If they want things to change, it's not just the head coach; it's the infrastructure around the program. And I'm sure before he took that job, he made that abundantly clear that if I'm coming, I need this, and this. And it sounds like he got that. So, man, when I first started on the show back in the 90s with Michael Vick in the late 90s, early 2000s, man, that is an awesome fan base. Lane Stadium is we need to get them back. When they formed the ACC, they were supposed to be a big part of that conference, and they haven't been for 15 years. It's been a long time. So here's to James Franklin hitting a home run in Blacksburg. I hope that works out. I hope we get the Hokies back. But Joey, go enjoy. It's a 2-point game. 5 minutes to go in the first half, so you got plenty of time. Get you a popcorn. Go enjoy the game.
I'm at the game and I can't see the game. You're sitting at home and you're watching the game. All right. Yeah.
Go ahead, bud. Go enjoy it.
We'll see you
later.
later.
Sorry to keep you so long. Have a good
one.
All right,
guys.
All right. Have a good week. See everybody.
Yep.